Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Adebimpe from Style by Painter, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the perfect way of making a bias tape. So it's going to be as neat as perfect as what you're seeing. So this is what I made with the bias tape. I use it for a camisole top, the neckline and the strap. If you're interested in video on how to make this type of top, I'm going to be leaving a link to it up. But the first thing I'd like you to do, if you're coming across my video for the first time and you are interested in content like this, is to please subscribe to my channel, like my video, turn on your notification button so as for you to get notified when I upload new videos. Thanks. I'm going to be working with a square of 13 by 13 inches. So I'm going to be using it to cut out my fabric. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to place a rule on it, and I'm going to be rolling it diagonally from one edge to the other, just as you see me do. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to ensure that the blunt edge of one side meets up with the sharp edge of the other side. Likewise, the sharp edge on the first piece meets up with the blunt edge on the piece that is laying flat. So just watch through, you will get what I mean by that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to run a stitch through it. So after stitching it, I flip it open. This is what it looks like. So I'm going to be opening my stitch and I'm going to be giving it a good press. So this is what I have after pressing it. So I'm going to be working with this ruler, and it's of the width of 1 inch. So I'm going to be using it as a guide to mark 1 inch, to rule 1 inch all across the piece I have. So I'm going to be ruling across it with the ruler, which means I'm going to be having a partitioning of 1 inch gap all through. So I went ahead and I marked 1 inch, just as you see me do, all through. So whatever excess I have, if you have any at all and is not up to 1 inch, should be cut. So the next thing I did was to pick one sharp edge and flip it to the center, and I took the other sharp edge and I flip it to the center, just as you see me do. It's going to be equal at first, then I'm going to be pulling it on both edge. Make sure that the first line of 1 inch is reaching the tip of the one laying flat on the table. So the first line is going to be starting at the tip of the other edge, just as you see. It is also important to ensure that your rule out line are aligning on all the lines also. So I'm going to be arranging it, the tip of my piece, I'm going to be arranging so that I'll be able to stitch on it. So this is what I have after stitching on it. So I'm going to be opening my stitch and I'm going to be giving it a good press. At this point, if you have excess stitch allowance, you can trim it off so as for it not to be too bulgy on your bias tape. So you have to trim it up to as low as possible, but ensure you do it after ironing so as for you to be able to have a good access to iron it. So you can trim the excess off and ensure your rule out line is also aligning to each other. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut through the lines. So I'm going to be cutting through the lines. Line will be guiding me. Remember the line is 1 inch width. If you want it of 2 inches too, you follow the same process. If you want it 1.5, you mark as 1.5 all around and you rule. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to confirm that I still have my 1 inch intact. It shouldn't be more than, so I measured it and it's 1 inch. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to fold 1/4 inch on both sides, and I'm going to be ironing it out. So I'm going to be left with 1/2 inch on the right side after folding 1/4 inch on both sides. These are samples of what I've done earlier. So after folding it quarter of an inch on both sides, I'm left with half of an inch, and that is what I'm going to go ahead and do. You can iron it with your iron. It's going to be a long tape making. That's why I'm making use of a bias maker. So I'm going to be inserting the edge of the bias cut out. I'm going to be inserting it to the bias maker, and I'm going to be pushing it out just as you see me do till the tip come out. Then I will drag the tip out. By default, it's going to be folding quarter of an inch already for me, so it's just going to reduce the stress of making a bias tape. So I'm going to be flipping the handle to the back, then I'm going to be ironing it, pressing it all through. So this is what I have. So after pressing it through, 13 by 13 inches square gave me 4 yards and 16 inches. So this is what I have. So at this point, we have come to the end of this bias making. So if you want to see how to make it into a cami top, you can check a link I'm going to be dropping up here. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Support my channel by subscribing to it and like my video, share and leave a comment for me. Thanks. See you in my next video.